Thank you very much, students. I also want to share with you some of my stories, my experience. When I was traveling in around the world, I often take airplanes, and there will be hostesses or guides who will help me going on board. But in some cases, there are people who would misunderstand me. For example, in Guangxi, just last year, as recent as last year, there were in the airport of landing, there was a lady who was handling passengers, and she told me that she didn't realize that there was a blind passenger, and that she believed that it was not possible for me to travel. So I said, how come? Because I've been to over 20 countries in different parts of the world and various cities in China itself. And she said, she was puzzled, and she said, well, you know, our plane was a bit too small, you know. And so I was even more bewildered. What size has to do with not being able to take on a blind person? So in such a situation, if you were me, what would you do?
I would tell the airplane people that even though I am blind, I know that there are no barriers that would keep me from going to any places in the world, even if I can't see, that I can still experience, you know, hearing things and learning from hearing of how they look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I've been telling that, yeah, but of course she was not listening. So I did two things. Number one, I said I would bring her or the company to court because there is discrimination ordinance in China and also in Hong Kong, okay? But she was not afraid of law, I don't know why. So I said, okay, can you now call your supervisor? I want to talk to your supervisor directly. Then she called the supervisor and asked a question and told them that I would be sending a complaint and so on. So, and her supervisor said, oh, no problem, let him get onto the plane. So the problem was solved. Well, the system was there, but there were always people who did not entirely understand the system. So in facing a discriminatory practice, you can take several steps. You can go back home and cry or be angry and happy. So that's number one option, which I don't advise you to take. You can reason with the person. That's the step one. You can then make use of the measures of this knowledge you have about the system, about your rights, about the duties of the people facing you, and to get through the barrier. Sometimes you don't even succeed in resorting to these measures, then you will seek compensation later on. So a positive steps, educating the people who face you, and also making use of the rights and the system that you use, okay? I don't know, okay, I'll share with you one example of discrimination. Have you actually faced any discrimination? I hear a lot of people saying angry or sad or happy relating to discrimination. But actually, throughout the afternoon, I haven't heard any students talking about any discrimination you have experienced. So in the last session, when we have a few minutes, would anyone who want to to tell a story in half a minute or 1 minute about discrimination you face? Okay, anyone? There's one, okay.
Okay.
Your name?
Patrick.
Okay.
Um,
It's true name, huh?
yeah. Um, I face discrimination here in Hong Kong. I'm Filipino, and I love to play basketball, and I would play basketball in many places, and where there are a lot of Chinese people playing basketball. So when I wanted to play, they told me, "Chao la, chao la." They said I could understand Chinese. They told me to go away. So I felt bad. I said I want to play with them. I talked to them in Chinese, but they said they don't allow me. They don't want some stinky Filipino people here, and I felt bad. So ever since that time, I wanted to help people to stop discriminating other people, especially with different nationalities. Not only Filipinos, but Pakistani, Indian people. So I really felt bad that time, and in that point, I wanted to help myself, but I wanted to help other people as well.
Okay, well, that's great. You felt discriminated against at that point. You were not happy. You were even angry. But then you turned that into a positive attitude. You want to help others. You want to prevent others from discriminating against other people. Is that right?
Yes.
So for that, give Patrick an applause. Huh? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for your sharing. For me, I've been enjoying this afternoon pretty much. I'm glad that I made myself able to come, because originally I could not come to the full session. And then Shana asked me to do some sharing at the end. So originally I wanted to leave earlier, but then but then because she said, well, your session is at the end, so and I enjoy that, including the playback theater. I think one thing to help ourselves to handle the feeling of discrimination is to be able to talk about it, okay, to share. Because when you can share it, that means you can accept it, okay? Discrimination is a learning process, because we all face, one way or the others, other people's exclusion, unfair deal, for many different kinds of reasons, either for your appearance, for your attitude, for your nationality, for your disability, and many other things. However, we know that these things, so long as we take on a positive attitude, we can help change and build a community where people will not be discriminated. You don't want me to know you as a Filipino, an Indian, a Hong Kong, a Chinese. You want people to know. You want people to know you as Patrick, as Jason, as me, myself, Chen Yao. I grew up having to explain to people that I'm not a blind person. I am Chong Chen Yao, okay? Because they say, okay, you're a blind person, you must know music very well. So I'm not very good at music. I'm not very well at karaoke. So be yourself, and that way you will help others also understand you as yourself. So with that, I will hope to be able to see you next time in some way. I don't know when, but I would, by next time, I would hope to share with you more stories and hear more about your experience in positively creating mutual understanding. And thank you very much. And thank you to EOC for organizing it, and Maurice for sharing, and all the students. Okay, give yourself another applause, okay, for coming.